welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Today we kind of have a special host on the show, and it's not Zane.
Yeah, I didn't even get introduced. What the heck?
Well, now you're not the second best.
Wait, I'm not a host, I'm a guest.
That's what we said.
Oh.
So
she hasn't listened to my active episode yet. My wife is on the show. Introduce yourself, wifey.
Hi. I'm Kambria, Justin's wife.
She's the awkward side of me, which is hard to say.
You know, it's so funny because I'm kind of the same way with Kaylee. So Kimber's more reserved when it comes to like talking to people, just like Kaylee is, and then it's the opposite, right? You want to make sure that the opposite attracts, and so it's fun.
Yeah,
that's true.
She is attractive.
Yeah, and you're not.
Opposites attract.
Oh my god. So what we got going on, we're going to kind of take a different approach to this. I'm going to be asking Justin and Kambria questions as a couple.
No, Kambria's getting all the questions. I have to side commentary. This show is about Kambria.
Yeah.
I got me.
Well, it's not about you, but I want your input as well. You've answered some of these questions, but I want to dive in and let's see how well of communicators you guys are. Like we talked about on the podcast, see if y'all are on the same page about some of these things, or if y'all have different views on these things, and we can dig it out here live.
Well, I just want to say to the fans, I am not held responsible for anything that comes out of my wife's. Sometimes she doesn't have a filter, and sometimes she says she listens to our shows, but I don't know if she does.
I do.
I don't know how much you've learned from the show.
It's all about experience, right? So, Kambria, how we kind of kick it off at the beginning, we just kind of tell a story from something that's happened in our week. What's something interesting that's happened in this week that you want to share?
Well, today, actually, I'm super excited about this. So Oakley is in a little helmet right now, shaving her head. She has torticollis. Which is basically like she's kind of got a creak in her neck and a flat spot, and we went to our therapy session today, and we only have 4 weeks left. I'm super excited.
That is exciting. How long has she been in the helmet?
Since December 1st.
Okay.
I just now found out that that's called tortillitis.
Oh man, that's wrong.
Then you don't listen because of the
I just thought she had an ugly shaved head, like Jack Cat from
Stewie?
Yeah.
Stewie fairly good?
I know it's actual disease.
It's not a disease.
Tortellini.
Alright, well, I want to go ahead and jump in. That's awesome news that she's only got 4 weeks left. I know last time we talked that it could have been a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Possibly, so the fact that everything's going really good. So, yeah, that's awesome. So, let's go ahead and jump into these questions. For you two, I want both of y'all to make sure to put appropriate responses to this.
What about my story?
Your story, no, tell one. Do you have a story?
No.
Okay. Well, I want to go ahead and start off with these questions. The first question that I have is, how has becoming a parent changed your perspective on life and y'all's relationship?
Oh, acting's first.
Yeah.
Okay. Becoming a parent in general. So when I had Kinsey, I was 19, I believe.
No, I didn't know you then.
Well, obviously that's like life changing. In general, I kind of had to figure my life out really quickly. And then in our marriage, the second question was in our marriage.
Yeah.
So
Zane, your mic is super creepy. Just hold it up.
I think it's the cord.
It is the cord.
It's shaky.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Is that the one that Jeff plays with?
It might actually. We'll swap it out next show.
So, and then in my marriage. So Justin kind of had to jump into parenting, obviously, from the get-go. And Kinsey was his biggest fan.
Oh, I remember. She excited this face on
yeah, Justin is so cool. Like, it's still on her fridge. She wrote so 1,000 times. However, seeing Justin with Jet, his firstborn son, has been just literally life-changing, honestly, because, like, I see my husband with his son, and just seeing how in love he is with him, it has made, I feel like our marriage stronger and us closer just because it's like, we have this bond with this baby, and he hadn't had a baby before. And I don't know, what's special.
What's special?
I was trying to take the moment serious, and someone's wheezing in the mic. I think it's but, yes, I have never cried on the show. My house. Geez, that was deep.
Yeah, and Justin, what was the perspective like coming in or starting out being a
You just say
stepdad?
It's not a
No.
word. Stepdad.
Coming in being a stepdad, and then getting to have the baby that y'all had together, Jet. What was the perspective that switched on yours? Did anything switch at all, or was it
From Kinsey to Jet?
yeah?
Yeah, honestly, I had to be more mindful, if anything, because I have seen people in my life where they had blended families, and I could tell as their life moved on, they kind of got not mistreated, but kind of put on the back burner. And naturally, it is a real thing. Like when Joe was born, there's no feeling like that, and I didn't get to experience that with Kinsey. So me being mindful of that and seeing that actually active in my own family, not my direct family, but extended, I wanted to make sure I never made Kinsey feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's an everyday mindset I can put on like that. Bonus dad hat, because I don't wear it's natural feeling. I'm going to feel that way towards Jet. He's my own blood, my firstborn baby, and I have to continuously remind myself to be mindful of being there for Kinsey, show her my attention, and not just let Jet steal all my joy and attention, because naturally he is my only boy too. So we're automatically going to draw closer to him.
He's Justin's favorite child.
I've never said it.
But everybody knows it.
I'm my dad's favorite child. I'm the only boy. Makes sense.
Exactly.
It's part of it. That's exciting. And Justin, this one's kind of for you first, and then we'll move on to Cambria. What are the most rewarding and challenging aspects of parenting for you?
It really depends on the age. So most rewarding for Jet, it's not really rewarding. It's more of like a, dang, this is literally like, he looks at me like I'm a superhero, and it's like the coolest feeling ever. Like the fact that I was in the room today, and all I did was hear the door swing open in the front of the house when they got back from their walk, and just Jet screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, 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 where are you, Daddy, Daddy?" And it's like the coolest thing ever. Like no one in your life is ever gonna feel that way. Like I don't think Oakley will even do that. I think it's just like a father son. Your dad's your superhero until you're 18. And then you think you know everything. And then it's like a cycle of life, because now like I'm getting back to the age where my dad's my superhero again. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then with Kinsey and Oakley, it's more of like they look at me in a different way. It's like you can tell like you're the man in your life. Something different.
Yeah.
And they're looking to be accepted.
And that's looking at it from your perspective. Me and Justin, we totally know, right? Girls are completely different creatures than men. They don't even think the same.
Even Jet knows it now. He asks mommy where a week is.
Like, we can't even try to fathom to try to figure you guys out. Just, I'm sure you are the same way with us, not being able to figure it out with us. Our minds just think differently. And so seeing his aspect, what are your challenges of the parenting for you that you see? I mean, you take it from a different perspective. He's out working. You're having to make sure to be here with all the kids, taking to everything. How's that?
And we're better yet to add on to that. But our listeners who are fathers or future fathers know maybe their future wife at the time is looking forward to it into a father.
But you just changed the whole way.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
So, my biggest challenge probably is patience. And it's with all three of the kids and my husband, who's like my fourth child. But and not too long ago, I was talking to actually your mom.
Okay.
And I was like, you know, I'm just really struggling with patience. I'm praying about it.
You were asking for patience, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't give you opportunities to be patient.
He
Yeah, no one really patient. That's good patience.
like, oh my. And whenever you look at it that way, you are just like, geez, no, Lord, give me wisdom. Give me wisdom to get through these situations. Give me wisdom to think about things differently. And it's the small things. I mean, husbands do things that just naturally piss off their wives and they don't even know. Like,
It's as small as playing golf.
okay, I was gonna say just leaving your dishes in the sink, but he rinsed it off, and then there's water all over the counter.
Yeah,
And I'm like, how can I do that when he tried?
It's probably a me thing. It's ain't fine.
I think
Not rinsing off the, I don't even put it in the sink.
Okay.
That works.
Maybe it doesn't bother. Maybe they can't think.
Yeah. And then challenging, so you're talking about the challenging with your husband and having one of the kids,
Yeah.
they're not doing that stuff. What are ways, the other examples about patience that you've had to kind of work through?
Oh, gee. So being a mom of three, Oakley's 6 months, Jet is 3 years old, and Kinsey is 11. We're in 3 different stages of life, so I have to be patient with Kinsey, for example. Whenever she wants to tell me something that's super exciting for her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, Oakley's crying. I sit back and I'm like, okay, you know what? Oakley can cry in her crib. I need to take a second, be patient, and hear about Kinsey's day, and be intentional and be excited about what she's excited about, because if I'm not, then she's just going to be like, oh, Mom doesn't care. She's not even excited about something so small in my life. Why would I tell her anything?
Yeah, and they kind of piggyback off of that. Little nugget for any couples out there. If you haven't taken this test called the Culture Index, you need to take it. It changed my whole marriage. It's for work, but you can get online and take it. Look it up, and it helps you actually understand like the things your spouse does. Because my Culture Index, I was quick explanatory. Like the C is patience. My C is like super high, and Cambria's C is like super low.
Negative.
So like I know that whenever she loses patience with the kids and stuff, like I know it's a struggle for her. And it's not like a natural trait. So when she works on it, it's like a bear with me. I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
But can we talk about the details?
That's on me. Cambria's detail's super high, mine's low, so it's kind of like a balance.
Yeah, I know before the show, he was sitting here struggling with all the wires. And it was just so funny because it was, I'm the same way. I'm not very, I wouldn't say so much organized. I'm organized to myself. To someone else, it's not really organized. But to me, it's organized.
Yeah.
But funny thing, so the guy that Justin works closely with at work and probably is the most productive with the work has the same culture index as me.
Yeah, so I go home to a freaking detail-oriented, anal person, and I work.
How about you, Jonathan?
He just is sort of.
And okay, let's just go ahead and move on to that next question. In what ways do you think y'all's relationship has evolved since y'all became parents? Like, how has it changed since just having the the triplets, you, Kensington, and Justin, and then now when you started adding Jet, did it evolve? What changes had to make?
I can answer that one. With Kinsey, it was more like a game. It was fun. I was like this 23-year-old dad with a 7-year-old running around playing. Like, we go to the park, we go to literally shenanigans arcade down the road like 4 times a day. It wasn't really like anything hard.
Legos.
Yeah, and for the first like year and a half of our marriage, I didn't really discipline her. She didn't really get in trouble either. She was quiet, and I didn't want to just come in and just like completely like wreck her world and like start making rules. And so we kind of built this relationship first, kind of like you do in the workplace. If you come into a new position, you're not going to just transition in and wreck the whole place. So you're going to get to know people, see why they do things, see what they do, and then start making strategic plans. So it's kind of like how mine and Kinsey's relationship was. In the year I started actually being a father and like guiding her, teaching her, and correcting her, we definitely had a rough patch. And then we're slowly transitioning kind of back into like a friendship.
Yeah.
And then once we got to Jet, it just got more chaotic. And in Oakley, it was just like, okay, here we go. Like the third one really did speed up our life about 50 times.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, Kinsey was a breeze.
What kind of evolved since on your side that you gave me his side? What was?
So I would say, yeah, we were so fast paced. We were so fun. And honestly, it probably set us up for failure as parents today. Because it was fun. Now, every day, Kinsey's like, what are we going to do today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to go do something. And I'm like, well, we have bedtime, like we have our routines.
We know what's like, kind of calm. We don't have
Detail.
I would do detail. Yeah.
Schedule is super important to me. But, so like with Kinsey, when she's wanting to go to the varsity football game on a Friday night, it's more than just like, okay, well, one of us is going to drop you off at 7, the other one's going to pick you up at 10. We would rather have eyes on her. So then it's like, okay, so we're spending our Friday nights apart, and then here comes the patience thing for me, because then I'm like, I'm at home with the babies because I'm not going to
Take the babies to the game.
Exactly. And that's all I mean. 100%. But, why are you laughing at me?
You just said it. Because I say it all the time.
Then 50%. Anyway, but then I have to realize, like, okay, we have to be here, there, and everywhere in order to make it work and bend in ways that, Jess and I are probably unlike most couples. We actually like to do lots of things together, I would say. Maybe he doesn't agree. He did say golfing earlier, but I mean, I'm fine.
I like golfing with you more than anyone, so that's Jack.
Okay. Anyway, we love to be with each other, and so that's hard. On Friday nights, we typically, we're always together. So being split up and going here, there, and everywhere has been difficult, especially because I'm like, oh, wait, but we were the fun 3, and now I'm the boring mom,
Okay. Has there been anything that y'all had to have talked about to try to compromise and work out through those? So maybe not going to the game, but maybe taking kids into the game, trying a dinner, something like that near the game. Or is that something that
We usually just kind of tie a knot on it at the night, but like we'll plan like a brunch as a family on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we try to make up for it.
okay?
We typically don't rebound the same day, but we'll our non-negotiables on Thursday, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kambria, you've been a parent. Kensington's 11.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, really?
Should we fun in March?
Yes, it's been.
It means Kambria is almost 30 or is 30
I am 30.
Yeah.
30.
Hey, when did I turn 30?
June 13th.
And what else happened that day?
Oakley born.
Yeah.
My little crier.
She is actually just very outspoken.
If you could, I just want to move on. If you could share a moment about your parenting journey that you have found, memorable or significant for each one of the child. You've seen 1 at 11, 1 at 2, 3, and then now.
So like today?
Yeah, for today, something that you've seen throughout all 3 of your kids that has been memorable or significant in memory that you will probably always hold.
So with Kinsey, I feel like she really helped me grow up. Like I had no choice. And just seeing Kinsey be so much like me has been crazy, because now I feel like she is getting her own personality, and I'm like, wait, where's my little nerd at?
No, baby, it's your person. Trust me.
Anyway,
I got 2.
well, lucky you.
Hey,
You made
I'm
it.
gonna Go ahead and quit cutting her off. She's talking. Wait till she's done.
Yeah, wow.
I was just being the leader of the
I'll make
household.
sure to be a good host too. Guest.
So with Jed, I think the past year has, every moment with him has just been, different. He's a boy. He's my boy, Tom's boy. But the past year, him and Justin, they're doing bedtime together, and they say Jesus loves me, and they pray, and I'm not even done. I got the monitor, and I'm like, what? I love him. My boys, for me, that is just, gosh. And then I see Justin as a dad, and I'm just like, oh man, this is what life's about. Seeing them sing together. I mean, it's something that's so small, but for me, is like game changer because it took that weight off of me putting Jeff to bed every night and put it on Justin, but then their body in a different way. And then for Oakley, my sweet girl, whenever Justin told me he wanted another, I didn't think he's crazy. I was like, no way. We're always gone. We're busy. We don't have time. And he was like, no, we need one more. And we were actually changing out the light in our house. I read in the directions wrong, so called Mark, his dad. And Mark came over and helped us figure out everything that I told Justin. We think that was wrong. I don't even know how it happened. I told him the change.
What happened is I came home from Depot buying ones, and she already took the old ones down, so I couldn't see how they were wired or anything.
That was it.
On a metal ladder.
But I'm still here. So fine.
That's good.
You don't have to tell her.
That's what happened. I couldn't see how they were wired. So I wired them up, and one was out series.
So apparently Justin and Mark had a powwow that day about like, oh, you probably need one more. And then Justin's like, I was like, crazy. The pregnancy with Oakley was super all over the place. Like with my health, it was super weird. Thank God, no issues now. That was crazy. But whenever I had Oakley, so I had Oakley on my 30th birthday. And now I just look at her and I feel like whole and complete as a family. And I didn't know how much I needed that until I look at her and I'm, oh my God, my little caboose.
I find it so funny because your kids have gotten whiter and whiter. The more
You guys share your sister's joke.
Do you know what Asia said about us?
What's it?
So,
Awesome.
no, okay, it was hilarious. Your mom was.
Your sister said Kambria ran out of heat.
No, I was wondering what did Asia say that?
So, because Kenzie's darker, the Jets are a little darker.
Oakley's white.
Feisty.
Yeah. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and white.
But the funniest part about this is Kambria, our whole marriage and relationship was like, I'm not having kids after 30. I'm not having kids after 30. She literally has open up to 30.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
You
It's so funny because I was talking to my mom yesterday actually about this. Kensington was the first baby
Since you.
that I've ever seen grow up. So you've seen your nephews grow up. I've never seen a kid from birth to grow up, and y'all's kids really are the first ones that I've seen. I mean, we have Asen, but Kensington is older.
Yeah.
And so it's so weird after some of the stories that I hear talking to her, I'm like, dude, who the heck are you?
You're old.
You don't even think about it. More disappointed.
It's so sad.
Yeah. That's one of the questions I wanted to ask. So
That's why you want to ask.
yes, of course. What was that question that you had that you wanted to ask me that was
Not
even relevant with the question I asked? What was
No,
that?
it was really just what females in general look for in a husband and a father. Or mainly a father, not a husband. You're already married because the show most of the time. So really, what are you looking for in a father? Just like quick snippet.
loyalty, honesty, dedication. Somebody who prays for your family and with your family. And somebody who loves you and shows your children how much they love you. Because ultimately, that's their example of what love is how our relationship is.
I saw this
You
story.
know, Pat.
I saw this story on TikTok. It said the best man that you could find is a guy that's a Cowboys fan.
Sorry, I sent you a reel today that did not say that.
Because if you could do with someone that's a devoted Cowboys fan, they've sucked, they've broken your heart, but yeah, we still love them.
Well, I'm married to Cowboys fans.
So word.
What?
Insider DNA.
So DNA. What are things that you looked in for a wife?
Oh man. First thing I looked for in a wife was selflessness. Somebody who is willing to stand by me and be selfless, and I guess really honor me if I needed it. Like obviously, if I'm not doing something that needs honor, I need somebody to wake me up to. Kambria has like that fine balance. But mainly, I would say the main thing that I look for in a female or a woman for a future wife was her ceiling, kind of like you do in sports. Cambria's super ambitious. I know she wants a good future in life for our kids, and I know we feed off each other. We're both very ambitious and have a mission for just freedom in life. And the moment I saw that, I knew that she was the one for me because I didn't want anyone that could hold me back. I knew if I married someone who had a average mindset or like complacency, I would be frustrated my whole marriage. And she backs me up every decision I made. Some of the ones I made are bad, cost us some money, but some of the ones where she stands by me and says, "Okay, I'm going for the ride. What do you need me to do?"
Yeah,
That's mainly it. She was ambitious and selfless and stood by me and honored me.
that's awesome. The next question I got for you, it's kind of a two-part question to this. It's what strengths do you think you bring in parenting? And then where maybe you're not so strong in what parts do you think Justin brings? What strengths do you think he brings to kind of work together with it?
So, like you mentioned, our culture index, he brings the patience, and I definitely don't have patience. I'll be like, Kenzie, your room is dirty. If you don't get it clean in 10 minutes,
She's the threat.
I'm gonna throw up. Except for your mattress. And Justin's like, hey, I mean, she's 11. Just tell her to clean it. And I'll be like, it's been dirty all week, and now there's ants. We had to call Jose, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. And typically he's all gas and I'm the brakes. But in the situation where it comes to patience, he is the patient one. He's the one who, Justin's the first to say he's wrong. He's the first to say he's sorry, which are extremely important things to bring to the table. Marriage and parenting.
Well, it's mostly because men are typically wrong in those situations, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But strengths on my end, I feel like because I'm very organized, I manage our family fairly well, and just keep everything going. Like, some of the things that I do make no sense to a lot of people. But to me, I'm like, okay, this is our life, and if we're going to be running and operating this fast, I have to be 10 steps ahead of everyone and planning and making sure, shut up.
Yeah, keep going.
No, I'm good.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I feel like I need to be 10 steps ahead of everybody. He's always like, wait, just calm down. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, but Jet has a project.
Why does it make me sound like a stoner?
What do you mean? No, I'm just saying, you tell me.
Calm down.
You need to calm down.
We're gonna have some talks after the show.
But yeah, like it takes two very different people to manage businesses like Justin's doing, and people and a family, and I feel like we mesh pretty well.
Yeah, I could definitely say you are the more organized and planning, for sure.
Planes just slow you down.
Yeah, he's more of a free ride. Let's just go where the wind ever takes us and hope for the best. And if it sticks, it sticks. And if it falls,
you know, the kids that we aren't racing or doing something, it has to be like, hey, want to go to Nebraska tomorrow? And then I'm like, okay, don't tempt me. And then we go, and then we spend money, and he's like, we're supposed to be saving money. I'm like, but you couldn't sit at home for one
Yeah,
Saturday.
I wasn't going to spend money.
But why would you go?
I need to go.
Then
If I'm
go
going,
to
I got. I would literally go drive around.
See, I'm more of like a homebody.
Me too.
I even hate with this. If I'm all day,
Go do
I
something.
got Burlington Coat Factory. I can't wait. The day Burlington Coat Factory moves to Rock on every Saturday.
The time we went to Costco, we ended up with an 85-inch TV. He was bored on a Friday night.
I just like moving. It's a good thing.
That's
It is. It truly is because it stays going.
I want to ask you this
I have
one.
no idea like every week.
I want to ask you this one first, Justin. How do you balance your personal needs with the demands of the
What kind of personal needs?
your personal needs, as far as your alone time, and as far as being able to make sure your mental health is right?
Oh man, with parenting or marriage?
Well, how do you maintain that?
For example, it's gonna throw me under the bus, but I don't care. Today I left the office around like 4:30, and I actually went to Mardell's first because I was having not stressful. I don't really get stressed. I can just tell I was mentally exhausted. I've been getting up at 4 o'clock every day, going to morning prayer at the church and all that, and I could just tell I needed like 15 or 20 minutes, just nothing. And she kept blowing my phone up, and I just like, I just threw the pocket. I was like, I'll see you later. It was the detail part of her. Ding, ding, ding. When's this calendar invite? When's this date? I was like, this week. I didn't say that. So if I had my phone in my pocket, I would just walk around Martell's for 20 minutes and bought like 5 books.
What books did you
But it would just be relaxing to just, I didn't just be walking down aisles and tell people just looking back, oh, this guy.
You buy good books.
They're good books like parenting and like 100 ways
To love your
to love
husband.
your husband and 100 ways to love your wife.
And affirmations to.
I really just bought the husband one and I was like, well, I don't want to pay that much, so I'll buy it. But no, for if I was a chicken with my head cut off, I was just walking in circles. Like, and I was like, well, no, I guess I could buy books that have been for 45 minutes. But it wasn't nothing crazy. I knew if I came home, so I was already getting kind of heated, not heated as Cam, but a scenario came up and I was like, I'm making it on the mobile. And I could tell I just need to go get like 20 minutes of just dead space. And Mardell's is like the most, unfortunately, sad. It's like the most empty store.
Oh my
I
god.
hate that, but it's a Christian bookstore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just literally
I used to.
walk down the same aisle. There's like, Mardell's has like 5 shelves. And I walked down all.
My mom, they used to have music studios, like you could like record yourself.
Yeah.
So my mom used to just go in there and she'd start recording herself singing because she was singing for the church. So she'd always record herself. We'd always have to find a book and read something. We'd be in there for like hours.
Yeah.
As kids, so 5 years old, just in there doing nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, so funny that you say that. I find ways like that because I know people tell me all the time at work, like, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? Like playing in baseball, I'm a smart husband, I pick and choose my hobbies. I already race a lot on weekends, so if I go golf, I try to make sure that it's on a month where I haven't raced in a while, or me and Cam just got back from vacation, something where we've already spent a lot of time together. So I have to just do like 20 to 30 minute timeouts, where that's I stop at the home and I go to fresh and just walk around. That's how I pick and choose when I honestly, one of my biggest strengths, as we were talking about strengths earlier, is definitely just a self-awareness and my emotional intelligence. And I would say I can tell when it's time for me to take a deep breath and I have just 20 minutes of no technicians calling me, no office, my wife, just like, basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Technology, and people don't realize how well it is, how good it is to have time alone and to where you can just have your own thoughts.
But I will say, this is not a shot at my wife at all. I didn't tell her I was going to Mardell's because I know she'd be like, why can't you just go home? I've been with the kids all day. So I just didn't, sometimes you gotta do stuff. And I came home and that's been great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What are some ways that you kind of deal with that, with the stress? What are things that you do?
I work out.
Pilates.
Pilates.
To this day, I have no idea what Pilates is. I think you just do I think you literally do the plank position for 30 minutes.
No. That's my fault. I do Pilates and yoga. I love to go to quirks. And you cycle. I mean, I just need to work out, and our Thursday lunch dates are like huge for me because even though like my workout time is like my blank space, I need blank space with Justin, and we can just be sitting. Typically, we go to this place called Umi Sushi, and it's just like a small little dark restaurant.
BYOB. Yeah, they actually serve wine now.
Oh yeah, no, you don't have to BYOB anymore because it's but we've actually never drank there. But anyway,
Just to make sure they're wasted.
but I need my blank space with Justin, even if we're like on our phones or not even talking at all. I just want to like be with him because he's my safe space, and just having that time, and just him and I. Because I mean, so the other day I freaked out. I think it was January 4th. I want to say.
The fact you remember the dates.
No,
That's the difference between guys and girls.
Hey, that's a Mexican woman for you. I told you.
No, because listen, I know for a fact, school got out, I think, on December 14th, 15th, around that time. But anyway, so I freaked out on Justin. I'm pretty sure it was January. And I was like, Justin, I haven't had a day without kids. I haven't had any time without kids. And like, we have a babysitter. She's the best. And she got to go on a trip with her husband and family. And, I'm super glad that they got to do that. But then I'm like, man, like I lost my me time for this whole time. I haven't had any time. And at that point, like we had gone to Tulsa, and just lots of things where a lot was required of me. And it wasn't my safe space. It wasn't at home. So it wasn't just like, my regular routine. But I need a minute. So Justin figures out a time to give me a minute. And in this moment, Kinsey wanted to go to something. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just cancel our date, and then Kinsey can do that. And Justin's so frustrated with me. He was like, you were just saying.
No, not just saying. You just yelled at me.
Oh, yeah.
For having the one time, and I make it happen. She is instant monitor.
Yes, instant monitor. I didn't raise my voice, but I freaked out. And I was like at a mental breaking point where I'm like, everyone's crying. The house is a mess. Like, nothing's going right. I'm so used to structure. Like, I too much of a clean freak, and I always swore, I was like, I'm never going to be like this. And like Eric, Eric used to always be clean in his couch. And then I had to have myself doing that. And then growing up, I was like, I'm going to have the messiest house because I was always having to clean. And then I'm like, I catch myself, I'm like, oh man, they just.
You weren't lying. When I used to go here, I never cleaned, and every time I went over there, they was like, hey, clean my baseboards. Hey, can you clean that dog that just peeked out? I was like, this isn't even my dog. And so I was always doing so I didn't want to go over there. And then it got to the
Don't touch my walls.
Yeah, don't touch my walls. Yeah. Which I understand that.
Now you see Ace and he's like a monkey on everything.
Yeah.
But
The
he's not.
baby of the family.
He's not.
No, wait, so it's like Jet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eric just.
Eric's gained a lot of patience.
Yes. Yes, he has. But what are some hopes and what are your hopes and fears regarding your children's future?
Okay. let's start with fears, the negative. Fears with both Kenzie and Oakley is that I'm raising a daughter. And man, can you mess up? My goal is to always be close with them, always want them to talk to me and tell me everything, and raise God-fearing women who, and we told Kenzie something along these lines the other day. You want to be a girl that one day a godly man wants to marry. And my biggest fear is that I don't accomplish that. And this world exposes you to so much, and it can be very scary and intimidating raising girls and boys, just being a parent in general. My fears for Jet, well, I think just with this thing, racing. I'm already a terrified racing wife. Like when Justin caught on fire, like I didn't want to leave his side for like 3 hours. But I had to. I had to go to Oakley.
You did.
But the whole time, I'm like, texting him. Like, I'm sorry, I love you. And then I'm like, okay.
I knew that you were that way, so did she tell you? I called her.
Yeah.
I was like, hey,
Check on me.
I just saw what happened. Are you good? Huh?
I think you did.
Yeah, so I was like, you good? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, no, like, seriously, are you good? I know how you feel about racing. And she was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. He's okay, we're good.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that here.
Yes, and just a boy in general. Boys are crazy. And like Jet's he was trying to ride the bike off the couch the other day. And I'm like, I pray all the time, Lord, please don't have emergency room visits, but you know what? It's gonna be.
It's a boy too.
Yeah, and that's And then things I'm looking forward to without the well,
You couldn't answer them with your fears. So you definitely answer them with the girls. More about Jet.
Jet,
Now what's a real fear?
fear. Yeah, or him not being a good husband or getting into trouble. And I feel like it now that I think about it, it seems like it's more stereotypical that when you have a son, you think like of your son getting in trouble. And I don't know why that is, because that's not true. I don't want my girls to get in trouble either.
Yeah, but is it more, when you look at your girls compared to Jet, do you see it as more, he has more opportunities to get himself in trouble? The way society's going, I mean, there's things called out all the time that could completely mess up a kid's future.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially boys.
Yes. And with Jet, I need to be the mom that's the same across the board, and that's hard. Like, mom is a boy, you know what I mean? And so I'm focusing and being like aware of that. I'm trying to be proactively aware. But then like hopes for Jet, like, and this goes back to my hopes for the girls, is that he grows up to be a husband like Justin. Justin leads our family, and he leads our family well, I feel like. And my kids know that he loves me. And that's great. And this past week, he got in trouble at school because he plowed into his teacher's butt. But he was trying to spank her. He doesn't realize you can't do that.
Hey, spanks me as soon as I walked in the door, man. Hey!
Yeah, just to quit spanking me in front of him. Like, come on. Now he just thinks it's funny. And anyway, yeah. I want him to be a phenomenal man of God and husband and leader. And if he proceeds or, has his career racing, I want him to be the best race car driver there is. So he better be my son.
Yeah, small.
Yeah.
Lightweight.
He'll be racing against Kyle Larson, so.
How,
Yeah.
not using the same answers that she said, what are some for you?
Oh man. I'm more of those softball girls too. Yeah, so I think it's just hard. Oh man. Okay. Biggest fears for Kenzie and Oakley. My biggest fear for Kenzie and Oakley would be for me to somehow give them the wrong example of husband. and for me to somehow miss it. Like maybe for one, if I knew, like, hey, I failed you here, but if I somehow didn't have the awareness of why they married someone like they did, and I just realized it when they were walking down the aisle, that's probably one of my biggest fears for them. And the second one would be is that I didn't teach them to have self-respect and know how they should be treated.
That's good.
In your boy?
And obviously, being on fire for the Lord. That's kind of like, for me, that's like a no-brainer.
Okay.
You're listening to a podcast, maybe it's your first one. Obviously, be on fire for the Lord. And Mary's.
More about your boy.
Oh, Jet. My biggest fear for Jet is that we aren't close enough to where I can be intimate with him emotionally, to where I can share with him everything I screwed up, so he doesn't have to do it.
So, you talk about your dad all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You and your dad are super close. There was a point in my life where I felt a certain way about my grandfather. Always got compared. Always felt like I had to grow up to be that for him, be that man for what my grandma is to us and to our family. Do you feel like there's shoes that you have to fill, or is it something that? Because when I did, I got super down about it. Yeah, honestly, because they were super big spiritually as a man, what he does for his family, where it became overwhelming at such a young age, and it almost becomes detrimental when someone's constantly telling you, hey, you're going to be just like, oh, you're going to be great. Oh, this is so good. And then you almost feel like you have to live into those expectations or else you're going to fail. And it just adds so much more pressure. Is that how you kind of see it? Are you trying to make it where you fill your dad's shoes, or are you trying to have your own shoes and stand on your own team?
I would say kind of like a mixture. My dad obviously is probably like a pivotal dad, like he's on top of me. And that's because
Pivotal word.
Yeah, I think so. Top of the middle.
Yeah, anyway.
But he is like your ideal super dad, but it's because he didn't really have that, and so he was just throwing stuff on the wall and saying this stuff.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm just not going to tell you. So there were stuff that he admits now is like probably should have been more patient with you like you are with Jet, and he knows. But overall, my dad, I couldn't ask for a better role model to help me raise Jet, and I see even more now as I see him look at Jet, and it's like, it really is like a damn, my dad does love me, because you can see him look at Jet that way. But as far as me wanting to fill his shoes, I don't really look at it that way. I feel like it's more of I had that big of an example to where I really can't fill. Like, I already know what a father's supposed to look like, and I'm going to mimic that, mirror it, and if I somehow pick up knowledge on the way, I'm going to be better. Like, I don't think I really can. I pretty much do everything my dad taught me with Jet, and then there's a few things there where parenting's kind of changed, and I'm also younger. My dad had me when he was 35, so it's kind of, but as far as failure, no, I don't look at it like it's pressure. I look like it's kind of like an edge. Like I had one of the best coaches coaching me, so now I'm going to take my knowledge and expand it.
Yeah.
I already think it's a stepping stone to start off of. But as far as my biggest fear in the intimate part is I think that's why, obviously I wasn't perfect, I still screwed up. But I didn't do anything my dad did because he was honest with me. And I want Jet to be able to be honest with me. We talked about it. We have not talked about it, but we talked about those things because I knew everything my dad did and I knew it was wrong, so I didn't have to try that myself.
Yeah.
And so I want to be like a generational step in, like where basically the men in our family just get pure, and eventually the curse are gone. Because my dads were not the greatest people, and my dad's dad wasn't the greatest. They're good people, which is a lot of baggage. And my dad was the same way growing up. Then he got saved, cut off all those generational curses. I kind of just wanted to step in some of the Jets kids.
And this is more of a question that I want to ask because there's two different types. Y'all came from two different types of households, and this is something that we can go ahead and skip this question. How do y'all think, as a relationship, as a couple, how does it impact your children? How did it impact you as a child growing up? You came from a totally different household from what he did. You came from having a stepdad and having the parents split. You kind of came from the parents that stayed together. You didn't really have any of those issues. How do y'all think that has changed y'all's perspective on relationship? And do you think it's helped y'all to see it from both aspects, or do y'all find yourselves having some maybe issues that you never saw before because your parents were together that could get brought up in y'all's relationship? How do y'all treat those, and what do y'all kind of think? It's helped y'all or hindered y'all, and y'all kind of grow together?
I'm curious.
So I think that because of our upbringings, because our upbringings were different, I feel like it's made us stronger because we came into this marriage feeling like failure's not an option. And we're going to make it, and we're going to make it work. No matter what, we love each other, and I'm not getting married twice. That's it. And because I had divorced parents, I knew that that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, I can say that too. Kind of piggyback off that. So I remember, honestly, vividly, I proposed to Kambria. I told her, the one thing I'm going to give you is forever, because I knew you already had to deal with that once. See that, and I didn't have to family, and I didn't want that to be twice. It'd be my fault.
Yeah, and for our kids, I mean, like he mentioned, generational curses, that's not going to be something to do with. And I'm thankful that we are like-minded. We don't say the D word. And that's those non-negotiables. You don't say divorce. We may go to bed angry, and everybody says, "Oh, don't go to bed angry."
No, you need to go to bed angry.
Yeah,
sometimes
it is. And that next morning, wake up with a new perspective and talk to each other about it, because you may have missed something that you should have talked about, or something that was weighing on my heart that I'm I just want to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
And I mean, so for me, that's what I think.
Yeah, and we're not perfect. And kind of, she said about generational curses and stuff. And I know this is kind of a tough subject sometimes between me and Cam, but me and her husband, I think we needed to have this conversation. And we actually did have that too long, probably a year ago, where I said it's her, and people might say, okay, you're putting too much weight on her, but I told her it's her responsibility to make sure Kinsey doesn't get pregnant before marriage. Yeah. Because if you look at generations, I was proud of my mother-in-law. She got pregnant before marriage. Kambria got pregnant before marriage. I don't know what the whole rest of the family is, but it's a generational curse.
It wasn't soon thereafter. My sister, right now I still have one. I agree with you.
And I told her it's your job. You being the oldest in the next generation, it is your job for the breaker.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because my dad had to break a lot of curses. Divorce, drunkenness.
And honestly, for us, no matter what, we got together, and some people are kind of oh my gosh, you really run everything by us. We don't hide anything from each other. We don't have secrets, and with parenting, so we do the same style of parenting. If we have an issue with Kinsey, or we talk about it together, and we don't really hide anything from each other, because I feel for us, I would be convicted if I didn't go to him about something that was an issue personally, because I'm I know what I prayed for in a marriage, and I've prayed for that loyalty and honesty with each other, and I know that he's the same way, and he gets convicted in the same ways and easily at that. So for me, that's super important for us to be on the same page and have that like same mutual respect for each other to where we do things together. But in the aspect of parenting, or not parenting, of Kinsey getting pregnant, I think that is, yes, something that I need to tackle headstrong, but I won't tackle it without talking to him about it and getting his advice on like, hey, this is what I'm gonna say. Like today I sent him a text message. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. That you think about it too before we present it to the kids, because this is gonna be a change for the family. And immediately, and this is what he's like. He's like, no, don't like it. And I'm like, but he's like, nah. And I'm like, okay. And eventually, we got to. We were seeing each other's viewpoints. But that's really important.
Yeah. Well, this is the last question that I have. Surprised we didn't do it at the beginning. How did y'all two meet? I want to hear it from both perspectives. Ended on a light note, seeing how we met, how y'all got together.
Am I allowed to give the full?
What?
Yeah. I mean,
Where am I going to?
Just where did y'all meet? That's all I want. Where did y'all meet?
I'm getting the whole story. We've done this long, I'm getting. Keep going. Sorry.
Let's see your perspective. Where?
shenanigans.
That's shenanigans.
One of my friends was dating his friend, and I get how did you know about me? Because you were there, Daniel.
How did
Did you just tag along?
Daniel?
That's right. Yeah.
Is it Daniel?
Yeah, Daniel.
But I didn't know it was her from high school.
Yeah, but so Daniel Ruiz was dating one of my friends, and I had a boyfriend at the time. But Justin came up to me and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go take Kinsey to the laser tag. And I'm like, okay, this 23-year-old boy is not.
22.
Yeah, 22-year-old is not about to know. And so he did this because I wasn't gonna let him go to Kinsey. Kinsey was our soul. She's like, I'm about to go play laser tag. And so then there I am, just following behind him, watching them, and just Justin was just like being, typical Justin fun. Anyway, we went back to the bar, and he was drinking a Jack and Coke. I was like, okay, like, yeah. And then I took my straw and I stuck it in his drink, and I took a big drink out of it. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and we were dating. No, that day he told me, he said, I'm gonna marry you. I was like, okay. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this guy's serious. And, well, now here we are.
The kids there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, part of that story is true. So we met at Shenanigans. I walked up to them at the bar in order to drink. And Kambria immediately walked up to me and started talking to me while her boyfriend was right behind her. And I was like, this is awkward. So I'm like, me and Kinsey automatically hit it off. And I was not a kid person. Never happened, didn't want kids. And me and Kinsey just hit it off. And so we were walking around Shenanigans, and I tell her, I'm going to go play laser tag. And Kambria was a helicopter mom. So she didn't fall behind. She walked us to laser tag. And acted like she had to pay for it and everything. And I was like, I'm going to let you do what you want. It's your money. But I strategically made Kinsey fall in love with me first.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. And that day, she did drink some of my drinks. She made fun of me for drinking Jack and Coke. I do not do that. But I didn't say I was going to marry her. I said, give me a couple of days, and you're going to be my girlfriend. And that was like my pitch.
Yeah.
You're a little bit of sauce in there.
Funny story. This is where I was going to show all the details. Daniel. So her boyfriend at the time had no idea about me. He thought I was dating her. Okay. So he actually invited me over to my football at their house or his partner house with Kambria and I. That's the funny story. Is he started this whole? He thought I was there for her friend. I don't know who he thought Daniel was, but he really thought I was talking to her friend, and that's how it happened. But the craziest part about our whole relationship that she left out was literally the day the day after we started dating, I moved to California. Yeah, I was 23 years old, or 22 years old. Yeah, I just went to California for pro ball. And I was like, there's no way this was staying with his 6-year-old. There's no chance. And she kept texting me I was there for like 2 months. It was like winter ball, winter league. And I came home, I was like, yeah, she's serious. I retired literally that day and got a job the next day. But I didn't think she would stay. I was like, there's no chance. Wow.
That's where did you start? You were in the warehouse.
I worked in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So she was my sugar mom for a little bit.
Back when you were a little older, and you just sit in the office.
But I would say it's a good thing because she spent money like that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I thought, how much money do you make? Because you know, like 3 times a day on shenanigans. But I guess it was just her and Kinsey. You know, well go.
So it's so funny because I was the first one I think in our family to meet you. It was by total accident. I think I just showed up to her house because me and her, she asked me, because I almost moved into apartments with her.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was worried. I was like, man, I couldn't afford that apartment by myself. If she would have to move out or anything. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that. So I thought it was funny how by accident I just kind of mentioned it. I was like, hey, what are you?
Yeah.
That's great.
Now, and then our second time we almost fought in the street playing basketball.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the
And
same
then by
time.
the third time,
I mean,
we're best friends.
yeah.
I'm not your best man. We'll leave it.
Well, that's all I have for you guys.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see it from y'all's perspective,
No, this is fun.
especially for me.
Kaylee's next.
Yeah, we'll have to get her out here, see what happens, and then maybe one day we'll do
Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
She coaches.
She's coaching.
So we'll figure it out. But no, we appreciate you coming on, babe. I love you.
I love you.
But one last thing I want to do is one tip for both of us in our marriage. And the one little nugget I have today is kick your kids out of your room as fast as you can.
Yes, amen. Hallelujah.
Healthiest thing ever. 3 months, boom, out.
Oakley was.
And 2.5, yeah.
She was early.
That's your nugget. Y'all just pick up on the settlements.
God.
Oh, God. All right. Well, I'm good. I have nothing else
Well,
to
you're
add.
supposed to get a tip. Well, a mom tip.
A mom tip. I feel like, oh gosh, you put me in the spot. A mom tip is love yourself and let your kids see you love yourself, because your kids are you. And if you look in the mirror and you're criticizing yourself, they're going to end up doing the same thing. Love yourself. Love yourself without make it wrong, in your pajamas, whatever. It's important, even for your sons. Like, they are you. Don't tell them. Don't say derogatory things about yourself.
We're hey dude, still love yourself.
Right.
But yeah, we thank you for coming on. We'll do this more often. I think it's good to have a different perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
The other times it is my 1 hour away from you, so they enjoy. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Like always, we appreciate y'all. Go like, subscribe, follow. Get us to 5,000. We'll have a big event. Later.
Peace.